Wait for it. Wait for it. And we're live. Hey, all you crazy sci-fi and fantasy fans. It's time for your daily dose of shenanigans over here at the Blasters and Blades podcast. Just a couple of nerdy veterans, a Stabby chaos coordinator, and one chief shenanigator geeking out over our science fiction passions and fantastical fantasies. A place where magic is king, the sky is the limit, and space is the place. We are the podcast that puts the fun in dysfunction. So without further ado, we're going to let our guest, Mr. James, I should have asked you how to pronounce that in the beginning, but James Raquepau, I'm butchering it, but would you introduce yourself?
Raquepau.
Now I'm hungry. Lame sounds good right now. Go on.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah. With mint jelly, because mint jelly is amazing.
Mint jelly. Yeah.
Anyway, take it away, James.
There we go. So, James Raquepau, I'm the author of the Destiny Cycle series, which is a semi-historical epic fantasy adventure based in Celtic Ireland, 5th century. I try to be as authentic as I can with the history at the time, but to make the story work, I had to create some myth to go along with the history. So some of it's, two Alpha gods and all their legends and myths and whatnot. And then I added to it to be able to get us to the storyline that I have.
Outstanding. So before we get too far afield, we do have to ask you the religion questions. Are you ready for this?
I am ready.
All right. Star Wars, Star Trek, Firefly.
Star Wars.
Okay. What is it about Star Wars that speaks to you?
It's the I call it the void, they call it the force. It's that thing that's between space and time, and that ethereal sort of magical force.
Okay, so you like the space wizards and the space magic.
The space versus not space is kind of irrelevant. I like the notion of what George Lucas created with this whole thing called the Force. And to me, it's I created I'll call it a version of that in the series. All right,
nice. So midichlorians, yay or nay?
Oh.
No.
That's the right answer.
That is the right answer. All right. And because we are polytheistic here at the Blasters and Blades podcast, the Game of Thrones, Wheel of Time, or Chronicles of Narnia?
Probably the Wheel of Time. And I won't go into why just yet. But you'll see. And I actually had a challenge from Amazon about using the word Wheel of Time in some of my advertising. And I just basically decided to go back and rewrite all those sections of the book because the Wheel of Time is like universal. And somehow they have a
trademark.
Copyright. A copyright. Who copyrights 3 words unless it revolves around that particular story? But they did. Anyways, so I changed it to Cycle of Time. So, and it actually fits better with Celtic mythology. So I was happy I did it.
Okay. So one of the crying shames of adulthood is we do stop asking each other the important questions. So we do, thanks to the generosity of our sponsors, like to bring that back. And I'm going to ask you, sir, what is your favorite dinosaur?
Well, you're going to be sort of, it's sort of interesting. I don't know if, because we have the Game of Thrones, which has dragons, but in Celtic mythology, they were not dragons. They were great worms. Mm-hmm. So the great worm of, there's only one in Ireland. There were multiple in Britannia, now Britain. Foremost was in Cimaru. And I'm all over the worms. And the worms are going to help by heroes. So, anyways, there you go.
I'll allow it.
You'll allow it? Okay.
Not
I will.
exactly a dinosaur, but-
Worms and dinosaurs are close enough.
and
You're ancient.
we do like all things Celtic, Jana and I. So we're allowing it for reasons to be determined at future episodes when we talk about our own series.
They're like dinosaurs. It's. I allow it. I just
all
do.
right. And so we are civilized human beings here at the Blasters and Blades podcast. We are no longer knuckle dragging troglodytes. So, coffee or tea, and how do you take it?
All right. If it's tea, it has to have a little bit of bourbon in it.
Okay, we'll allow it. All right. So now that we've
Okay, wait. I have to put in a plug here. It has turned cold in Utah where I am, and we're recording this in October, and it's turned really cold, so it's hit the point that the hot chocolate has come out, and I just have to tell people that I put my brown coffee, hot chocolate, and the peppermint and the caramel are both really, really good. I put them away several months ago to get through the heat of the summer. They have come back out, and just in case you were wondering, they do keep very, very well over several months, even though I'm now almost at the bottom and will have to order more. So there's your thing for the day. They still taste delicious, and I am very excited to see if they come up with new flavors this year. So there's my interjection. I had hot chocolate this morning. It was delightful. All right, now it's your turn, Claire.
Okay, awesome. I said I had coffee. It was also delightful. So, all right. So obviously, if you're writing now, because that's why we brought you here, but you didn't start off and say one day, I've never read a book, but I want to write one. So you started off as a reader first. So how did your love of all things speculative and historical come about?
Okay, this is a little weird. So, all right, I read Lord of the Rings. We got very lost in the extreme narratives of his long-winded way of approaching writing, and thought I could do better. And then I wrote a failed novel, and then I decided to try my hand at another one, and then I got an English degree in creative writing. And then I didn't do much with it. I got married, and then we had kids. Well, no, then I got married, and then I had a dream, and then that dream turned into what was then Stone of Destiny. And it was white-haired warriors fighting red-headed warriors in a stream somewhere lush, and that to me turned out to be Ireland, and they were Norse invaders, but they weren't Vikings. And how all that came to me, I got no idea, but then I started writing Stone of Destiny, did that, and then it was only okay. And my professor in English creative writing said, just, write for your readers, not for yourself. If you write for your readers, you're an author. And I was like, well, okay, I can do that. But then I realized that the writing I was doing was like great crappy. And I put it down. And then I was in IT for 45 years, retired. And I said, I'm going to pick it back up and I'm going to get better. And so I tried, and then I got a pretty crappy editor, and got another editor, and finally she straightened me out, and now I've got 3 pretty fabulous books. So that's my sort of writing history. Good
editors are worth their weight in gold, and bad ones, well, I mean, we could drop them in the river somewhere and do the world a favor. But
I wish I could have dropped the first one in the river long before I paid him. So yeah,
I'm told it's uncouth to say that, though. So
yeah, it is, but I'm not naming names, so it's okay.
It worked for Rob Roy. I'm just saying, we don't know that the person he dropped in the river was an editor, but we don't not know it either.
Yeah, that's right.
True.
So okay, so you were always interested in reading. Now, was that because your family is a family of readers, or is that something that was special to you in your family?
No, that was all on me. My dad was like totally thought fantasy was idiotic, and why would you do that?
Aw.
Just is what it is, you know. But I didn't care, and I've always read fantasy since I read Lord of the Rings and didn't like it, but I said there's got to be something better out there, and I've hit some really good ones. I mean, like the Honor Harrington series was great. I love that.
Good stuff.
I love that's Weber, David Weber. I just want to make sure he gets his credits. Anne McCaffrey and Dragon Riders of Pern. Kind of interesting, like semi-historical in a way around Britain was the Durini Cycle. That was
Catherine Kurtz.
Catherine Kurtz. You know, that was really good. I really love that. So, you know, I've had my favorites. Brandon Sanderson, Stormlight series was great. Yeah, I kind of did. I like the Wheel of Time. Sometimes I thought he was long-winded, but you know, yeah, it was good. Yeah, whatever.
Okay, so you've been an OG fan of the genre even before you were writing it. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, an English degree in creative writing into IT, that is not the trajectory I generally see with an English degree.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming either.
I'm like, okay, if you'd been a teacher, I'd gotten that. If you'd work at some sort of admin job, okay, that makes sense. IT?
No, I fell into, well, okay, so I have a minor in fine arts, and the lady who interviewed me thought, well, maybe you'll have a good attention to detail. So I started running an offset press at a tech company, and then I just sort of graduated up through the ranks, and then I got to know enough, and networking was just becoming really big in the mid 80s, and I was pretty good at it. So I ended up getting a job at a tech company. This is in Michigan. And then fast forward to like 98, and we moved out to the Great Northwest. And it continued on, and finally I retired, and now I can focus on writing again. So, and yes, I still do have dreams of like that first scene that they happen all the time. I just had one like 4 or 6 weeks ago. Created a whole new.
You actually remember your dreams? You actually remember them?
Oh yeah. When they're super vivid, I remember some of them are all just nonsense, and I kind of shovel them off, and I don't care. But I had a dream about demons, and I said, "What can I do with that?" And there was demons in all 3 books, and like, what can I do with it now that the big demon guy is like dead? I guess that's foretelling. Sorry. I won't say where that happens.
Spoilers.
Spoiler. Sorry.
It's all good.
But I turned again into something very hilarious. So, because my heroine, Brianna Bamora, is pretty anti one god. Just saying, she's always the 2 author gods, right? She's the old gods, right? So just saying.
So you're writing set in Celtic mythology. So when you write, are you wearing your kilt when you write as well and listening to pipe music?
No. I have to. I'm very relaxed. I'm very casual when I'm writing because I'm in my head, and and believe me, everyone goes, "Don't you ever have writer's block?" And I go, "Unfortunately, no. I just can't. I have so much stuff. I mean, like, all right, I'll spill a little bean, small bean. So Brianna is really upset that she's helped some one god followers expel some demons from their people, and she's declared a saint, and she's like 100% anti one god. And to be declared a saint, it's like, what? That's just so screwed things up. I'm trying to get rid of these guys. Anyways, it's fine. What do you say to that, huh?
All right, that's interesting. I'm sorry. I'm muting off and on so we don't listen to the dog yapping. The puppy is wanting attention, and it's been rainy, so he hasn't wanted to go outside. And just the dog barking on radio is not good podcasting. So
No. Yeah, you'll edit that out.
Yeah. So since we're getting in so soon, and it's cool because this is a subject I'm interested in, to the topic of the world and the books, I'm gonna go ahead and just air the commercial early so we don't have to wait for it, and we're gonna just dive right in because this is interesting, and I know Jana is interested in the Celtic mythology angle too, which is why she begged out of whatever family people do when they like their family. And so we're gonna.
The World Series is on. It's Game 5, and so I really am into it. That I am walking away from watching the.
Sorry, my wife told me that there was a poll done about how many people wanted the Blue Jays to win in the country and how many people wanted the Dodgers to win, and it was 80-20, except for the state of Washington. In the state of Washington, everybody wants to nuke the whole World Series. Sorry,
just get rid of it altogether.
The Mariners lost.
Yeah, the Mariners lost, but that was a rough loss too. But we will not start baseball discussions because JR will get bored, and I will talk for a long time. But for those who are paying attention, it's a really good series. The games have been amazing.
So since we're talking baseball.
Anyways, go ahead.
Since we're talking baseball, I'll have you know there was a funny. So as everybody knows, the current pope is actually from Chicago. So when he was meeting with the head of the Assyrian Church of the East, the leader of that branch accidentally, in air quotes, gave the pope a Cubs jersey because he's from Chicago. And it was not well received by the facial expressions. And I just thought it was hilarious. And you don't even have to like baseball just to watch the body language on that one.
Yeah,
and the way the Assyrian is grinning maniacally, he knew what he was doing.
Fully aware. Fully aware.
All right. We're going to pause for a moment while we shamelessly shill for the man.
Go for it.
From darkness to destiny, Layla awaits. Blinded by fate, Eric awakens to a new life on a remote farm, cared for by the enigmatic mute Layla. As secrets unravel and adventures call, can love conquer the shadows? This gripping fantasy, unearthed from antiquity, delivers pulse-pounding action, divine interventions, and timeless themes of worth and courage. Layla, available on Amazon. Ignite your imagination today.
Awesome. All right. Thank you for sticking with us through that commercial interlude. And now we're going to dive right in. If you do, frequent listener of the podcast, you recognize that is Michael LaVoice doing the voice acting for A.M. Stevens.
I was just going to ask. He did a great job.
He did. And then the commercial, the actual video, Stevens made himself. So I've got to figure out how the heck he did that. So maybe we can do that for some of our other commercials. Because I normally just do the voiceover and the static image, but that was kind of cool. But I also, I'm told by a lot of people I should spend more time writing. So it's all about.
I don't know who those people would be that tell you to get the writing done because we need to get the book out.
All right. So what is it about Celtic mythology that draws you in such a way that you decided to base a book around that world? It is not one of the more popular pantheons.
No, I totally understand that. And so I'm a quarter Scot. All the Scots came from Ireland, and all the Gaels who went to Ireland came from Galicia. And so I like studying the history of all things Celt, all things Gaelic. And I just sort of felt it was undertold story, mythology-wise, in some creative way. I mean, it was just like. Then I had that dream, but that was another story. So it just happened. I've actually come up with a kind of a cute little idea. It's going to be called a series of posts called Whispers of Destiny. So I have Bards of Destiny who do the music. I have, Blades of Destiny that that's the first book, the Destiny Cycle series. Everything is Destiny.
Mhm.
So I have this idea. I've created a voice on 11 Labs of Brianna, my heroine, and Ian, her mate. And they're going to whisper to me about I'm their bard. And it's going to be just a lot of fun. So I just fell into the whole Gaelic mythos. And I just love it. I don't know why. I just do. It's just perfect. It's just amazing. I don't know how else to say it.
Well, and you mentioned in the pre-show that you actually took a trip to Ireland. Was that before? So was it inspirational, or was that I'm writing in this and I really love it, so I better go to the source and get the tax write-off?
It's the latter. I was started writing after the dream, and I said, I got to see this place, and it was in 94. I had a dream. In 95, we went to Ireland. There were still the troubles going on there. And we had to dodge that because we were in the Lakes District, is where the book originates, the first part of it. It was pretty weird driving through a little area that says "Don't back up. Your tires will puncture." And we're in this little Clio white gem we call it. It's really a small car, and we end up in the Lakes District, and then from there we went to Mullingar, which is where the famines were, and met some really great. I love the Irish. I just love the Irish. And then we ended up in Galway, and then back in Dublin, and then back through Northern Ireland to fly home. So I had to see it. I had to say, like, why am I writing? I'm writing about this land, and so the Lakes District is like this spot between. I'll use the old names Eulalia and Mid and Connacht, and it's like where kind of like everything comes together, and it really is a ton of lakes, Lake District. Anyways, that's where I decided to set it, and the finale of Stone of Destiny
Nice.
ends up at a place called Krogan Hill, and I actually went there and looked up and said, wow, that's like really, it's like someone took a huge ball of mud, cut it in half, and slapped it on the ground, and it's all like raised up. And anyway, so created a standing stone altar at the top, and that's the final tragic scene of Stone of Destiny, where everything changes. So it's kind of like, if you think about the books, they're going to be Blades of Destiny and Stone of Destiny hang pretty close together. And then Heart of Destiny, Warriors of Destiny, and Immortals of Destiny kind of hang together, because there's a major transformation at the end of Stone of Destiny. I don't want to say what it is, but it's really major. And that one.
So is it finished at 5 books? Is that the entire cycle, or is there more to come?
Well, there may be some tales, because they'll spawn off from Warriors of Destiny. I do have a little humorous story about the covers. Everybody seems to love my covers.
They're great covers.
I give credit to my illustrator, cover artist, Nadia, lives in Ukraine, which is a tragic thing as it is, but she's just fabulous. And so I give her, pick this set of, she's not a native reader, so I give her scenes to read, and don't read the whole book. You're not native. Read these 2 or 3 pages, and then read these 2 or 3 pages. And so so we both agreed that Blades of Destiny needed to be that scene, which you see on the cover, and where she's fighting Fomorian demons. And then there's another battle where they're back, and she could have that scene, or she could have the end scene of the second book, Stone of Destiny. And she came up with the echo of Brianna leaving her body. And I don't know how she did it, but it was masterful. Now, on the third and fourth cover, you don't have the fourth cover. I guess I could kind of give a little sneak peek here. You'll see they are, oh, wait a minute, they're in Egypt. Okay, well,
we actually do have the fourth cover. That was on your website.
Yeah, I see the fourth cover. Yeah, it's on my website. I thought of that scene and explained it to Nadia, and she created it. And interestingly enough, if you look at Heart of Destiny, the golden hair gal in the middle, lower right, she is, and that's the previous book, sorry. She's my second oldest granddaughter. And then in Warriors of Destiny, I have my oldest granddaughter and my youngest granddaughter, all as characters in the book.
Aww.
They all have their own thing, and they get to point and say, "That's me on the cover. I'm in that book." And I went to a book signing here in the Seattle area, and my son showed up. My son and daughter-in-law showed up with the 3 grandkids that they have. One of the girls is from my daughter, and 2 of the girls are from them. And they were like, "That's me. That's me." It was awesome. It was awesome. It was awesome. And it was fun, like creating their like, like Lottie, Charlotte. She's kind of spicy sometimes. And so she's kind of the more temperamental warrior in the Warriors of Destiny. Izzy is a little bit more ethereal, but very focused, and has been hunting Romans since she was 8, 10 years old, because Romans were all over that area of Spain. And then Livy is the little more soft-hearted one, that she's a seers. So I mean, like, they all have like different powers. I use sort of the magic system, because everybody wants to know, like Brandon Sansra, what's the magic system, right? And the magic system is based in, Druids have skills based on are they a healer? Are they a lawgiver? Are they a bard? Are they, what's the fourth one? I'll get it. Hold on. Healer, bard, lawgiver. Oh, seers or seer. So those are the 4. And then there was the lost one that was warriors. That's where Warriors of Destiny comes from. So in the magic system, it's all based around elemental magic. And so to command the elements, and if so, how well, and if so, can that be enhanced with a sigil? And so it's pretty standard. I don't know, maybe it's not standard. Druidic magic, because it's all based around controlling the elements of their life. And of course, the four main elements are earth, air, water, fire, along with the 5th being spirit. So nice. What can you do with it? And then the other part of the magic system is what's between the human realm and Terranog, the Tuatha realm. So they are their magic is also elemental based, but they can live in time. So gods are basically, their power is based on how far are you removed from the source, which is Danu. So Dagda and Babakatha are like right next to the source, and then Lu a little farther down. And then all the other gods and goddesses in the pantheon are farther down. And so Brianna becomes involved with these gods and goddesses. So is she first generation? And so what happens to her children and Owen and she are mates? And anyways, that's where Morals of Destiny comes in, and I won't go any farther than that. So that's
Nice.
how does that help like explain the magic system? Just a
Oh,
little
yes.
bit? Yeah.
Now, for this whole cycle, then in the 5 books, it looks like, do we have multiple generations and multiple different locations, or do we stick with the first 2? Look like they're Brianna. It's
Yeah.
Brianna? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Brianna. But then are these others? Are these then multiple generations? So we're getting kind of a family saga.
So Heart of Destiny, they're all the same. I mean, it's all the same generation. And even Warriors of Destiny, Immortals of Destiny does get into Brianna and Owen's children.
Okay, so we get a little bit.
Because and they end up being second generation.
Okay.
Because they both have a piece of Dagda. And you can so generally the Tuatha gods went through a couple millennia of having no new gods because they were infertile. And then there's a new goddess that gets born. I won't say how. I say it like this. Finally, towards the end of the second book, Brianna's walls break down and Ian and her get to be a thing. And his cousin is with them and gets to be a thing with another goddess. And yeah, she has a little baby goddess. So it's all fun.
Nice things happen. All right. So one of our other questions, we try to ask this on almost all of our books, but particularly for me, because I'm a mom of teenagers who read. What's your target audience? Is this more of a YA? Is this more adult? Where do you think, would it be 14 and up, 16 and up, all readers?
I put it at 16 and up. Now, I try to keep things clean, but there is some swearing. There is some pretty gruesome battle stuff. Just saying. There is some sexuality, but not enough that it's graphic. So I say 16 and up. Someone else might say 15 and up. Someone else might say 17 and up. I don't know, but 16 and up feels safe.
Yeah, there's always that you have to know your young reader and what they both understand and tolerate, and that can think of it. We always kind of like to know, we get families who listen. Hi, dear listeners, and they want to know, who can I share it with? So definitely great fun for adults.
And in fact, my daughter loves it, and in fact, her daughter is actually in the book, and she's read them pieces, and she I just clean up the things that I need to clean up if she's reading to them. But they love the music that I bring with the series. I have a song in each of the books. And that's those are all sung currently by a lady from Ireland and another lady from Argentina. And then I have a composer who kind of puts things together. And then I'm also doing soundtracks. So you can get a soundtrack. And so if you want to have a really nice immersion experience, play the soundtrack or play the songs while you're reading the books. It's awesome.
So where would they find the soundtracks? Is that all on your webpage, or is that over on Amazon Music, or where do they find it?
On Spotify, Apple, YouTube Music. I have some on my standard YouTube channel, which I think is in my socials. And because I'm like my composer would like to make some money off of this, so he's posting it under his name, and I post it under Bards of Destiny, and so it is streaming, and the more it streams, the better it is, and hopefully he and I might make a little bit of money on that, but probably not because Spotify is pretty brutal. So is Apple about how much they pay. So anyways, but yes, you can find it everywhere. And it's on other streaming themes. The same thing with my audiobooks. I publish audiobooks through something called Authors Republic, which is really cool. And they put it out wherever they can get anybody to pick it up. Same thing goes with DistroKid. They put it out and it gets picked up on multiple streaming services. You can find it anywhere. Just search for Bards of Destiny and you'll find the music.
So what made you decide to do the music? That is not something you hear unless the author is also a musician. I've never heard of another author doing
that. I ended up putting a song in the second book, and then I actually went back and added the song to the first book because it seemed like it was appropriate. It's kind of like part of the ethos of Brianna's transformation from backwoods warrior who is a half-breed to Aaron's hero. So what would those songs be like? And I just don't know how or why. Shit happens in my head. It just saying. And I commissioned the song to get written, and here we have it. And then Toledo, who did the composition on the third song, said, "Hey, we should do a soundtrack." And I was like, "Sure." I don't know. This whole thing has just been like a grand experiment in not knowing what's next. I mean, like this whole idea of the Whispers of Destiny, of having Brianna and Owen have a name and a voice and a presence, and what can I do with that? And I just came up with that like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I was like, I got to do something with this. So there will I'll use the same font that I'm using on the books for Whispers of Destiny. So we'll see how that goes. That's a lot of fun.
I really do love these covers, so I'm digging it. Are you making them available so people could download that as like wall art or buy it as wall art posters, that sort of thing?
I haven't thought about that. I could. Shit. I don't know. There you go. Thank you. I love that idea.
These are the kind of pictures you put on your wall just because the posters look cool.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I'm really digging that art. Whoever your artist is.
Oh yeah, Nadia is just fabulous.
Sometimes art is lost on me because I'm colorblind, but these ones I'm still seeing lots of detail. I'm sure there's more I'm missing, but they still pop the way she did the colors. So I'm really
great. Gotta love her.
Now,
by the way, the shield crest behind me, yeah, she did that. And
that was on the box set.
Yeah, it's on the box set. That's the shield crest is the heart. I'll go in order. Sorry, the blades, the stone, the heart, and then the Oberos, which is the worm, and then the sword is the sword of light, which is a slew sword of light. So yeah,
it's kind of.
So I did make up the blades of destiny, and I did make up the heart of destiny. The stone of destiny actually is a myth, the stone called the name of the king, and that's both in Scotland and in Ireland, the real king. And then I spun it into the Tuatha say they had it all wrong, and it's really the thing that governs the cycle of time of people who can access it. And so if you're not Duana, if you're not Danu, and you're not Brianna, you need the Stone of Destiny to see time. And if you want to, you can go travel to that, but you got to like see it to go travel to it. And then I guess I spilled a little bit of the beans about Brianna in Heart of Destiny. So she gets a major transformation.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
you've talked about the main character with the one that the sagas were written about. Were there any secondary characters that you really liked?
Oh yeah, I mean, like you always want to like work in, um, so it's there's this tug of war between Brianna and Owen that goes on until the end of the beginning of the third book of can she be accepted as a half breed, and he's a prince of the blood, and like how could her family ever accept her? The very tribal, Gaelic, clannish kind of thing going on, and then there's other characters that like who's pretty primary. There's the non-believer Fergal, who's Ian's cousin, and he hates all things magic. There's Toll, who's a young kid who adores his cousin Brianna, and that's all pretty tragic in the Stone of Destiny. But things work themselves out. She's cast a fate of wielding magic that will remove her father. She's a half-blood. Who's the bad guy? Her father. If she has to cast a vision without him, what's that do to her? Anyways,
that's dark. I mean, if you met her in a back alley, she might have some words to say to you.
Maybe.
You think you're coming out of that one alive? I'm starting to wonder.
No, you work with the Danu and with the with the gods, excuse me, the Dratha, and with magic, I'm having one of those days. Irish folklore has a lot of the Fae and some of those kinds of things. So do you delve into those creatures as well, or do you stay more with the gods and your own magic system?
Yeah. Here's the problem with the Fae. The Fae were created by some fairy tellers. No pun intended. In the 1500s, and I'm in the 5th century. And I actually had a reviewer go, "You spelled fairy wrong. It's F-A-F-E-A-R-Y." And I was like, "Yeah, no, that they didn't exist then. In the 5th century, it was fairy, so F-A-I-R-I-E. So just saying. So no, I don't. I don't do the. In Immortals of Destiny, the fairy will come up because Brianna and Owen use it to what shall I say, shield themselves or mask themselves and their family. So it comes up, but not until like the 5th book, and it's a thing that they actually created to spin things away from what really happened.
So, deceptions, I love it. Working in the shadows.
Now, did you publish these yourself, or are they with a publisher?
No, I publish them myself. I'm an indie through and through.
So, are you foreseeing a long line of stories in this world once this one main series is done? Or do you think...
I think each of the characters can have their own little novellas. I could do that. I could see that. I like my Izzy, my eldest granddaughter. She's got a super awesome character to work with. So much stuff going on that she could easily have a little storyline of her own. I probably that will probably be where things go after this is kind of like wound up. With Immortals, because she'll be immortal at that point, so she's got a long life ahead of her.
So you mentioned in the pre-show, and you've hinted at it here, you had a dream that partly inspired this. So do you want to tell us about it since it's part of the origin story?
Sure. So the dream goes like this. There's a bunch of Celts, warriors washing in a stream, and some white-haired warriors on horses come rushing up against them, and a battle ensues. And then I woke up, and it was in a lush green spot, and I was like, well, where could that be? And maybe it could be Ireland. And then who would the white hair? Oh, that would be Norse. And then, well, then the others got to be Gales. So, anyways, it just happens. I have those things, weird things. It just kind of like the demon story. It just happens.
Okay.
Who I am.
Was it hard doing the research for this? Because there's not, I mean, I've done some of the research into the Celtic mythology. There's not a lot out there that's in English.
It's tough. But there's more than you think. If you just dig, you got to dig. And I've read all the fairy tales and, all the little twists they put on it, and how could I use that? And a lot of them were influenced by the one God followers. I'll say it, Christians. And you can suss it out. It's not hard. I don't think. Because it's all in my head, and I just use the history around the time and the places and the battles and whatnot to pull it together.
So do you provide a pronunciation guide for your readers as to how to say some of these things? Because it is kind of a lost language in its own special way to go back that far.
Gaelic is hard as shite. That's all I got to say.
Indeed.
And yes, there's the whole characters and places and the little guide to Gaelic pronunciation. You want to learn a little bit about it. A page and a half of that, and then there's at least 6 pages of names, places with pronunciations.
Nice.
So, and I actually had to put a reference to that at the beginning of the book, because this is at the end of the book, because that's what my editor said, put that at the end of the book, because there's too many spoilers in it. And so I did that, but then I had to put a thing in the foreword, or the acknowledgements, or whatever you want to call it, that if you really want to know how to say this, I got it all in the back, but there will be spoilers, so just be aware. So anyways, they love it.
That seems like a good way to split the difference. So when you did this, as far as technology, I mean, obviously you've got the magic. Are you using period correct weapons and such, or are you taking the fantasy tropes of mixing and matching weapons and armor from across the medieval and
no, I try. I get it. I try and stick with the armor and the blades of the time. Now, you remember, some of those are going to be mythical, right? Because there's the Sword of Light. There's Maclear's Red Javelin and Yellow Spear. There's but the blades of Destiny, totally made that up all on my own. The Heart of Destiny, a goddess cast into a ruby-shaped heart gem. Oh, that's tragic as shit by the time you get to the Heart of Destiny, because she's had 6 heroes in, I don't know, 2,000 years, cast into a gem.
Oh, dear.
And she can only talk in, she can talk to the gods, but she can't talk to anybody else except through her hero, or see anything, or, I mean, talk about lonely. Oh my God. Anyways, that's part of the books. But so, yeah, I try to keep the battles as close as I can to what would happen at the time. They didn't have a lot of armor, mainly leather, right? Shields were typically going to be leather or wood. But, when you're talking about, here's another little being, I won't say who it is, but there's a goddess of time who can go forward and find shit and bring it back, bring the ideas back. And so all of a sudden, how can 35 or 40 warriors stand up against 2 legions of Rome. It's got to be some heavy duty shit going on there. Just saying. Right. So you try to get as close as you can, but like the sword of light's a sword. Weapons are weapons.
So with the Romans, obviously they happen in the backdrop. If you're writing in the period, are they central to the plot, or are they just sort of set dressing?
No. I try and not create a character just to create a character, and then leave them by the wayside. If they're transient, they won't get a lot of airtime, if you will. They're just like a plot mechanism to move things along. But if the character's got like my granddaughters, they're going to be pretty central.
I guess we could at least count on those characters as safe, because if you kill the granddaughters, you got some answering to do.
Yeah, I do.
True.
Yeah, and then there's the whole like love interest between the granddaughters and their fellow warriors, male warriors. I gotta go tread lightly there, right? Because they're still young. They won't be reading this till they're 16, though. That's the good news.
Yes, but their parents might.
No, yeah, I know. That's why I'm treading very carefully there.
No, I absolutely understand that. So did you start out planning on using them as the basis for your?
No, that just that came about in the Heart of Destiny, when I needed to expand her inner circle of people beyond Owen and Fergal and they're his cousin, and they're and Toll, her cousin. So I had to build a cast of characters around her, and it's I got some pushback from my editors about might be like a few too many characters, but I managed it. I'm happy with it. That's all I got to say. Now, I did do something pretty unique in Heart of Destiny. I don't want to spill too many beans here, but I did steal a legend from Britannia, Cimaru, and pulled them back into time because someone needed to unite the 22 tribes of the Celtic thing that Britannia became. So just saying. I won't say what legend that was, but you can probably get a pretty good idea if it was in the 5th century.
Given the location. Yeah, I've got a couple of guesses.
Right. Just saying. Livy's father happens to be Mirrodin. I don't know. You can kind of go from there.
We can make guesses.
So obviously we don't want to go too far into spoiler territory.
Right.
You're going to finish this series out at 5 books and then do some spinoffs. Right now, books 1 through 3 are published. You can buy them individually on all the fine book retailers. And when I say all of them, I mean like there's like 9 options on his website on where you can buy them.
Yeah. It's everywhere. You actually go to any store that buys through Ingham Spark and order it. It's all print on demand, so you might have to wait for a week. But yeah, you can order it just like anywhere.
But where, so book 1 through 3 is out. When would be 4, 5, and 4 and 5 come out then?
So right now I'm targeting mid 2026 for Warriors of Destiny and mid 2027 for Immortals of Destiny.
Okay.
I'm just finishing chapter 1. I usually write long chapters with clear POV, point of view, scene changes. So typically about 6 chapters in a book, and they're all going to be somewhere in the order of 50 to 60 pages.
So you're writing almost braided novellas, it sounds like.
No, no, no. It's all. I mean, like the books really hang together, like where they're at and where they end and where they start. But it's the scene changes that I don't always stick in Brianna's point of view or Owen's point of view or Izzy's point of view. I mean, it switches around, and so one of the things, the feedback I got from like the earlier release of Blades and Stone was, I see you're switching to another character, but I'm not quite clear who the character is. So I actually went back and I reworked with my editors Blades of Destiny, Song of Destiny to match Heart of Destiny. So they're all like very in sync. And there's the, sort of thematically, they are all tied together. All the references that I make in Heart of Destiny are true in Blades and Stone, and have corrected all of that. I just did this all by the end of June, and I released it in in July. So it all hangs really tightly together.
Okay.
So I would say that they have a logical ending and a logical beginning, and but it's epic. And I don't know, you can't do that kind of book in 150 pages. Sad.
No, that'd be very difficult.
Or I would have I could do what some of the authors are doing now, which I hate, is like, here, I'll give you a 150 page book and I'll give you another one and another one, another one. And they end up with like 6, 7 books and they may be, I don't know. You can add it up. The numbers just don't work for me. I can't write that way.
No, and you got to do what works for you. And I get why, like, some people, their brain just needs to compartmentalize.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just different strokes for different folks, but that definitely works.
Sure.
Now, one of the things that people like to do when they're researching for a book, obviously you put boots on ground in Ireland, which is more than most people would do for a book like this, which I think is kind of cool. Hopefully you took lots of pictures with the highest resolution cameras they had in the 90s. Have you handled any of the weapons of the era to hold them in your hands to get the feel of them?
I've had swords. I could never find anything that was like the long blades that Brianna has, because I made them up.
That would do it.
Yeah, but no, I've had swords and axes, and I don't pretend to be proficient at any of them, but yes, I have.
No, sometimes when people write sword scene, then it's like that wouldn't work. Weapons don't balance that way.
Right.
And so that's when I'm always curious, about the martial aspects on what they did for authenticity sake. And I'm not expecting anybody to be a sword expert. Most of that is just what feels right in the moment, rule of cool and all. But
so yeah, I do like watching YouTube. That's kind of silly, but YouTube videos about how does like a sword fight actually work, and it's usually pretty brutal and pretty quick.
Mm-hmm. They don't last long.
So they actually did an interesting experiment. Lindy Bage is a British YouTuber, and he's fanatical about like the medieval stuff, and so he wanted to see. So he got a bunch of I don't know what they called it, but basically middle school and high school by American parlance. And he had them fighting people that had been training in sword work for some of them decades. And he gave them sticks and taught them for a day pike drills. And they came about even when it come to winning the fights.
Yeah.
With a day of training on the pikes. So I thought that was kind of interesting to see some of that.
And so that's like, so I have warriors who carry pikes, and I have warriors who carry swords. And, the pikes are the ones that are the defense. And I don't know if you're familiar with the Irish term called fans, but they basically had bands of 9, and they all bore pikes and shields. And
Okay, so basically a squad.
yeah, so
Okay.
hopefully that helps. I do get good marks for my battle scenes.
I'm definitely interested enough. I'm gonna have to pick it up. I normally prefer audiobooks because it works with my head injury. But
I do have audiobooks.
oh, outstanding!
Yeah, in fact, Heart of Destiny will probably release in 2 weeks.
So
nice.
How much did your narrator hate you for these pronunciations?
She hates me a lot, but I tell her I love her a lot, so that kind of makes up for it, I think.
Hopefully.
Erica is just great. She's just great. In fact,
that's outstanding.
I screwed up the preview for Warriors of Destiny and sent her one wrong at it, and I said, "All right, I'll pay you the extra half hour that you spent on that." Just saying.
You will forgive a lot for as a narrator for the right kind of gash.
Yeah, you will. Anyways, I love her. She's great.
She
has a really good job of trying to get the different Gaelic in English characters to have a different voice. I just love her.
Okay. Is there anything we didn't ask about the Destiny Cycle series that you think we need to know before we wrap this up? Because obviously we don't want spoilers. We want people to buy the books and read the books.
Yeah. No, I think we hit things pretty well on. I loved it. I mean, you guys had great questions.
I will tell you.
I know I'm intrigued.
Dear listener, if this does intrigue you, because he went through Ingram Sparks, your library should be able to get them if you're interested too. If money's
yeah. Like so, for example, the audiobooks have both a library ISBN and a regular ISBN. On all the other books, the library should be able to get it. You might have to ask them for it.
Right. So that should, if budget's tight, but that still helps. And authors, somebody else handles the back end, but I knew authors do get paid when you check them out from the library, at least when the library cures them. So.
Yeah, when the library buys them.
So,
yeah.
All right. So this is the part, dear listener, where I remind you to please be kind and speak your mind on the reviewing platforms. Your reviews help the right readers find the right book. So do your part. It really does make a huge difference. And with that, James, how might listeners and viewers at home find you on the wild interwebs? And as usual, links will be in the show notes.
Hey, it's pretty simple. www.destinycycle.com. And they can find me at books@destinycycle.com. I got my own URL, my own domain. So
nice.
It definitely makes it easy.
You gotta own it. I just find it such a riot to write for readers who love epic fantasy, semi-historical stuff. All the research I do, it's all for them.
So what did you end up naming your press? Because did you name it Destiny Cycle Publishing or something like that?
Yeah, I'm Destiny Cycle Publishers as my
your imprint.
My imprint, yeah.
That is awesome.
Nice.
All right.
And and you can do press at Destiny Cycle and media at destinycycle.com. I set all that up. I just did a release of a media kit and a book club kit. And I'm just going to combine them all together and make it a blogger book club media kit, just one document. And it has all the things that you could possibly want to know about the series if you're a moderator or a blogger or whatever.
Outstanding. All right. So eventually, Jana, as our co-host that came on officially this season, I will add you to the link tree. It will happen over the Christmas break, I promise you. So it will be here for season 6, but it isn't today.
Yeah.
So
lies, and damn lies. I know.
How might listeners and viewers find you, Jana?
Listeners and viewers can find me at linktr.ee/Opal Kingdom Press, or you can go straight over to www.opalkingdompress.com, where I have open calls for anthologies and where myself and all of my multiple personalities hang out. You can also find me under, I always point in the wrong direction, under these pen names and a couple of others all over the World Wide Web. I am the loser of hide and go seek on the internet.
Outstanding. But she's the winner at life because she has like
It's
100
true.
kids. It's a true story.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I
I
want
mean,
to
it
thank you
feels like
both. so
100
much
even when you
for
have one,
your
right?
questions.
Beg your pardon?
I said it feels like 100 even when you only have one. So
Yes. I don't have quite 100, but they each feel like 100 all by themselves.
I've got teenage boys, so it feels like 100 when I got to pay the food bill.
Oh, isn't that the truth? I got so much money back when I booted my kids off to college. And my son, my oldest son, about a month after he went off to college, he called me one day and he went, "How did you afford to feed me?" It's like, "Oh, kid, I got like $150 worth of budget back when you moved out." And so, because we are kind people, we would send once a quarter, we would get the biggest possible mailing box that we could stuff full, and we would stuff it full of food stuff and toilet paper and send it to him. Or even better, we'd talk him into making the 2-hour drive home from college, and then we'd stuff the back of his car with various victuals. And so that was a way to get him to come visit more frequently. So there you go. If you want your kids to visit, fill their car full of toilet paper, and you're in good shape.
All right. And if you want to find us, dear listener, you can find us on our link tree. That is linktr.ee, linktree/Blasters and Blades podcast. Again, linktree/Blasters and Blades podcast, where we link to all the things: the BitChute, the Rumble, the YouTube, the TikTok, the Twitters. We've got our Spotify, our Discord, our Blasters and Blades Facebook group and Facebook page. You can email us at blastersandbladespodcast@gmail.com. Again, Blasters and Blades podcast@gmail.com. For professional purposes only, people. Save the shenanigans from Adam Stabby Stab over there on the Instagram, the Twitter, and the email. You can support the show by going to buymeacoffee.com/author J.R. Handley. Again, buymeacoffee.com/author J.R. Handley. Be sure to plug in the comment section that it is for the podcast, and I promise I will keep my co-hosts duly caffeinated. They will drink that coffee brand coffee, tea, and hot chocolate until it pours out of their pores. I'll do better next time. They'll just drink it because it's good, people. And with that,
That's right.
If you want some of that, link is in the show notes. Discount code is podcast grunts. You get 10% off. We get a little bit of a kickback. It's a win-win, people. And with that, I'd like to thank you for spending some of your precious time with us. For my crazy co-host, I am J.R. Handley, and this was the Blasters and Blades podcast. We'll be back next week at the same time. We'll indulge our love of nerd culture, cheesy jokes, and all things that go boom. And with that, thank you for coming on, James. This was fun.
Great.
And I'm going to have to check those books out. They sound interesting.
It's been a lot of fun. Just got to say.
All right. Outstanding. And with that, we'll hit the end button. Don't cuss yet, Jana.